Hello, hello, and welcome, wonderful people. How's it going, Mr. Bam?
Heyo, I'm back. Happy to be here. Going
Happy to
great.
have you. Happy to have you.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to call out something real quick, if I may.
yeah, go ahead. What's going on?
People calling us out that we're running late. Listen, we're on, we're here in the US, we're on Central Time Zone, but we're also in Chicago. Chicago actually has its own little micro time zone.
Hmm.
So we're 2 minutes behind the
Yeah.
actual time. So we're on time.
So we started right on time. Chicago, right on time.
We're always on time.
Yeah. That's good to hear. So what do we have in news here for World of Tanks this week, Bam?
All right. Yeah, let's start it off. So this week, you guys, we had the release of the NM116 Panzerjäger plus skin. This was the Tier 8 tank destroyer. On sale now. Check it out. In fact, I don't know. We do have an asset to show. I don't know if you guys already saw it in my background.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the non-skin version right now, and
All right.
we also have the fancy little skin version. And as I always say, I'm all about the camo nets and the foliage and stuff that other tanks have. So
Yep, absolutely.
looks pretty neat. I like it.
And just a little bit of stats to share with you guys on how well is this tank performing. And we're talking, this just came out a few days ago on Tuesday.
Give us the win rate.
The win rate sitting at a staggering 55.3%. Very high up there, for especially amongst all the other tier 8s.
Mm-hmm.
Average damage, 1,775. That is, right now,
That's pretty high.
number one amongst all tier 8 tanks. Not just premiums, but not just like TDs, but all tier 8s.
But what about
That's the average damage right now.
the survival rate for this tank? What does that look like?
And also, yeah, the best survival rate amongst all tier 8s, roughly a 37%. But for right now, it being a new tank, we can always reevaluate next week. But I mean, this thing it's a killer out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's performing pretty well. Looks pretty neat. Looks like a pretty solid tank to me.
Yep. So in the store, I believe we have all three bundles out there: the primed, fully loaded, and base. So out and available. Check it out, guys.
Mm-hmm. And we
So,
have premium
go ahead.
bonus. That's 50% XP and silver bonus for the following tank lines, which are tier 5 to tier 10. We have the BMP3, the IS4, and the T10E4. So go ahead and check those out as well. We have Earn Challenge for the Rheinmetall Scorpion, which is running from September 6th to October 4th.
So plenty of time on that one, guys. And then in addition, we also have the Earn Challenge for Honoring Heroes. And this is also running, that started on September 6th. And this will be coming down next week on September 12th. The reward for this is John Garvey, the 3D commander. This is the commander in the firefighter uniform. Very unique, very cool, and available to you guys to grab that as well. And then in terms of contracts, we also have the Deadbolt contract come out this week. So if that's your fancy, check it out, sign that contract, and work on that grind.
Definitely. And I know I mentioned it last week, but some people were always pinging me about the firefighter skin. So now's your chance to check out John Garvey Commander.
There you have it.
So,
And that's news for this week.
but what about for next week? Bam,
What
that's why
about-
we're here today. We want to hear about next week. What's going on?
How about you hit us with that slick new trailer?
Wait, we have a slick new trailer.
I mean, that's what you told me. If we don't, then oh boy.
All right, well, listen, Bam's asking for a slick new trailer. You guys want to watch it, so go ahead and please enjoy.
All right, there you have it.
What do you think?
The cold, wonderful. We had a good first look at the Czech and Romanian line tanks of the Cold War eras.
And what tanks are those?
So, new tech tree tanks for the Cold War Czech and Romanian. We have in the post-war the TVP 5051, and that is a medium tank, as well as the TVP 50, also post-war medium, and lastly the TVP VTU 88 millimeter, also a post-war medium. And along with the release of these tanks, we also have a supporting new challenge, the Hunter and Destroyer challenge, to go along with the new tech tree tanks.
Awesome.
Yep. And then next, we also have some Tankz0rz Reforged updates, which fits very appropriately well with the release of the Czech Romanian. For World War II, so the Czech medium TVP 5051 line, this is between the tiers 7 and 10. The first one being the T34 100, the tier 7, is receiving a slight buff to its stock gun penetration. Then next is the tier 8 TVP VTU, is actually receiving a few changes. A changed turret, new engine will be added just to add a little bit more to the mobility of the tank, as well as improved penetration and gun reload. Next, tier 9, the TVP 50, slight improvement to its stock gun and an improved speed limit. Lastly, we have the tier 10 TVP 5051. We actually changed back the clip rate to the 1.5 seconds. That's a buff to the reload slightly. Increased the ammo capacity. This is to support the ammunition needed for the duration of a battle. This was previously at 48 rounds. We have now boosted that up to 64 rounds. And there you have it for the Tankz0rz Reforged.
I see a lot of people in chat here saying, nice, finally. They're excited. They're saying yes. A bunch of exclamation points.
Good. Yeah, check those out, guys. And then up next, we have a very exciting Pirate Week next week.
Ooh.
A nice little, I think we commemorated this a little bit for, it was the Talk Like a Pirate Day. Mm-hmm. I think we had a small release last year. This year we have the Jolly Roger 3D Pirate Commander. Tankz0rz, show the people. We got to show them this.
We have an amazing looking pirate here with like a scimitar and a little I don't know. I don't even know what type of gun this is, but yeah, he's fully loaded. I like his shoulder pads. He's got a fancy hat. He's got an eye patch. What can't you love about this man?
Right?
Looking real snazzy.
You and I were talking, and the other our other support team on the community side, we're talking ahead of the stream here. Like, man, I went digging through a closet trying to find some sort of materials, like some sort of pirate hat or an eye patch or something, a peg leg. I don't know. There you go.
A peg leg.
Yar. Perfect. It's uncanny, man.
It's my little eye patch. There we go.
Captain Tankz0rz.
Captain. Our matey.
Our matey.
We're gonna have to do something for that.
So yeah, guys, look forward to the Jolly Roger 3D Pirate Commander. In addition, we also have the Pirate key cards and a Shiver Me Timbers Earn Up, along with a key card, a medal, and the Jolly Roger emblem as a reward.
Awesome. Definitely stuff for you all to take a look at in the future here.
Hope you guys are pirate fans.
As much as we are.
All right.
I think it's
shout-outs
time, right?
Yeah, here we go. And as always, guys, for our shout-outs here and the names and people that we will call out here, you guys will be receiving a confidential key card for your amazing feats.
And for us butchering your names.
And yes, and for butchering the names here. So for battle feats, maximum damage dealt in a single battle with the brand new tank that we just released this week, the NM116 Panzerjäger, 8,479 damage by iRund8Y. Maybe iRund80? So congrats to you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Up next, we have maximum combined spotting and assist damage in a single battle. Also in the NM116 Panzerjäger with 8,332 damage. And this is by Scheissmuskel X. So congrats to you, sir.
Congratulations. And up next here we have maximum kills in a single battle in the NM116 Panzerjäger, which is 10, and it was achieved by Ferretman115.
Yeah. Yeah, getting 10 kills is no easy feat. Long ago, I think my record is 11 in a single battle, but that was when the game was still very new. We at least had the advantage of learning the ropes prior to release. So, I mean, huge congrats to you, Ferret Man. Well done and well played.
Up next here we have Bradley Taylor 00 earning the, help me out here, Bam.
Kolobanov's
medal and Pool's medal in a single battle in the Panzerjäger. So
a lot of Panzerjäger users today, and a lot of awesome feats. I guess just to add a little bit of context for what might be these medals. The Kolobanov medal is awarded to players who stand against alone 5 or more enemy tanks and wins. The Pool's medal awarded to players on vehicles of the 5th or higher tier for destroying somewhere between 10 or 13 enemy vehicles in one battle. So very awesome, guys. And additionally, all these battle feats, you guys can actually go and check them out and watch them for yourself. These are now in the trending section of our replay browser in-game. So check them out, watch these players, and hey, one day you too can also be featured in those, and we can always bring you guys up in here as well.
Bam, you know what I just realized?
What's that?
We got so excited about our stream here today.
I know where you're going, because I was thinking of it too.
We didn't do a giveaway.
We did not do a giveaway. So, I was going to actually bring it up before the next segment here.
So why don't we go ahead and give our lucky viewers here some cool things to win. So today we're going to be giving away, I mean, we've been seeing it all over today. We've been talking about it, and we just saw it all over the shout out section. We're going to be giving away an NM116 Panzerjäger and the skin. So if you'd like to win that, please go ahead and enter in this giveaway. If you're new here, enter in your Wargaming ID. For me, it'd be Tankz0rz -X for Xbox or -P for PlayStation. So go ahead and fill that sheet out, and you'll be eligible to win for all of our giveaways. In addition, make sure you go and check out our Twitter page, because I believe we might be doing a giveaway there as well. So go ahead and check that out, please.
Extra chances.
Extra chances.
Yeah, and very appropriate. The NM116 is a hot topic today, so good luck to all you contestants today.
All right, so that about wraps up our... Wait, it doesn't. We still have more. All right, let's keep going.
We got our milestones to talk about. Only a couple to briefly go over today. So as always, a congratulations and a huge thank you. This goes out to Bullet771K for reaching the 100,000th battle milestone. So huge congrats to you. And Rob Joe for playing his 130,000th battle. So thank you guys for sticking around with us for so long. And again, to all of our shout outs on the battle feats and the milestones, you guys will be receiving confidential key cards.
That's a lot of battles.
That's a lot of battles.
So now that wraps up our shout out section for real this time. Why don't we go ahead and jump into our next section? What do we have, Bam?
All right, as a part of our usual weekly routine, I am sticking around with this agenda to talk about some heat maps and a little bit sharing that data with you guys. So up first, well, let me just say we have 2 urban maps that we're covering today. The stack rank of maps that we are choosing was actually picked out from you guys, the community, as we had run a poll previously a few weeks ago, where you got to pick what maps you guys wanted to see and let us hit first. So every week we're kind of covering a World War II map, and then we're going to be covering a Cold War map. And like I said, this week we are going to be covering 2 urban maps. And so up first we have the one and only Himmelsdorf.
Ooh. 1 second. We have Himmelsdorf.
All right.
What are we looking
And
at
then,
here?
So we're looking at, this is the position heat map. This is where the hot spots are for both teams. On the left, we're looking at the north team spawn. And on the south, we're looking at, I'm sorry, on the right, we're looking at the south team spawn. The hotter the color, meaning the more green it is, the more yellow and red, is where more players are kind of congregating at or finding either, I won't necessarily more success, but this is just a very strong contention point or a front that players need to hold in order to have success. Worth noting, as always, for both sides of the images, you will see those bubbles that are very much green at the top on the left image and the one on the right image at the bottom. Those are, of course, the spawn locations. Those are accounted into the heat maps here. So don't take that as in players are just sitting at the spawn. That is accounted for the heat maps while players are getting going in the first 10, 15 seconds of the game. So there you have it. This is Himmelsdorf. Very clear and obvious where some of the routes that players take here and try to stay out of that center courtyard area. And then up next, let's also take a look at the next heat map. This is also for Himmelsdorf.
All right. And this one's got a bunch of lines on it. What are we looking at here, Bam?
A lot of lines poking all over the place, right? So this is the vector kill death heat map. So what this is indicating is the green dots is the source of where a player was located at and fired a shot, and the trajectory of that shot lands and managed to hit a victim tank that's outlined in the red dot. That is the tank that is actually destroyed on impact of that shell shot. So these are more or less where players found success in being in certain positions and getting the destroyed, killed an enemy tank. And just like before, on the left-hand side, we're looking at the north team spawns and their approach to the map. And on the right-hand side, we're looking at the south team spawns and their approach to the map. The thing I found kind of fun and interesting is looking at the high castle on the east side of the map. There's like a nice little hook of how the vector lines kind of wrap itself around the dark blob that is the castle itself up there.
I see a little discrepancy here in your data here, Bam.
What do you see?
Banana Road's not colored yellow.
What road?
Banana Road here should be all colored yellow. I just see red and green here. I'm just messing around, pulling your leg.
I'll bring that up to the analysis. We need some more yellow in our data here.
Mm-hmm.
And then up next, let's take a look at our Cold War map, Mannheim.
All righty.
So, just like before, I won't go through the explanation of, what exactly we're looking at here, but here is the map of Mannheim and the positions that players take into account when they run through the map. This map in particular does have two different variations of standard battle, in which right now we're actually looking at the variation where players spawn. One team spawns in the northeast, the other team spawns in the southwest. The other variation, of course, is the teams would spawn in northwest versus southeast. For this demonstration today, I just picked the one variant. If requested, if people want to see more of this, we can always look into the other one later as well. Then lastly, let's take a look at the vector lines for Mannheim, and then we can call it a wraps on our map data showcase for today.
Alrighty.
And then, here you go. So, the one thing that sticks out to me almost immediately, roughly around the grid chord of B8, there is a very strong position held there by players. If I recall, that is on a high hill. They do have a bit of the elevated track to kind of have some cover there. So that very well could be something we need to look into and address if there's a balance issue or concern there.
I was looking at that on the heat map that there was a bunch of people congregating there, and I wasn't sure if it was just a spawn point or not, but it looks like, they're definitely taking advantage of that high ground.
A lot of snipers up there. Yeah, it's definitely a snipey heavy kind of map. Until you push yourself into the brawl zones into the center. But yeah, there you guys have it. That is this week's showcase for heat map data.
Awesome.
What do you say? Do we actually have a winner picked out for our giveaway?
Let's let's answer a question here. Let's move on to questions, and I'll get a winner ready for us here.
Okay, we'll keep that cooking for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then. Let's see. I have a question for Bam. Firstly, thanks for the redesign of the Pearl River. It's awesome. Well, okay, thank you. That was a fun project. Let's see. Now on to the question. When designing maps, are you going to give other returning maps the same kind of treatment? Maps that are already redesigned quite heavily on PC, like Berlin, Ruinberg, and Fjords. So yes, so for context for other people, Pearl River was a challenge that we wanted to try to adopt some of the changes that the PC version has done to their map of Pearl River. Instead of just bringing back Pearl River the way we had it before, we wanted to challenge ourselves and say, take a look at what PC has done and adopt it into our own. We are certainly having those conversations on how we can try to apply that on other maps, including maps that we already have in the game, such as Pilsen and Ghost Town. Like, how can we tackle these and take a look at what PC has done and apply it into our game in some positive, meaningful way? And as well as for future upcoming maps as well. We have those conversations going. We do have some challenges to kind of overcome and have to identify within a time frame, can we actually achieve it before we have it kind of slated for release.
Sounds good. And I do have the name of my winner here.
Oh, we're ready. Let's hear it.
The name of our winner is Darky57. Congratulations, Darky.
Was that Starkey or Darky?
Darky.
Darky. Okay. Yeah. Congratulations.
And let's go ahead and run it back.
Let's re-roll and do it. Well, re-roll. I guess not a re-roll.
We'll have another chance for your very own Panzerjäger here. So go ahead and if you haven't filled it out, enter our giveaway link here. If you've already filled it out, you're all set. All right, on with the questions, Mr. Bam.
All right, yeah, no problem. Okay, from a Reddit user, the Pyriper0. Any estimate on when the Lawgiver contract might come back around? Sorry, this one's not currently on schedule, so we are a few months away before we can make any announcements on that. Next question from Reddit user Kwama57. The T28 Proto HP buff from 1350 to 1400, balancing the gap with the T2850 to 1500. I'm sorry, let me reread this a little bit because I realized I didn't read ahead on this. So the question is, the buff for the T28 Proto HP sitting at 1350 to 1400 would help balance the gap against the T28 to 15 that has a 1500 HP pool. Is that possible? I mean, possible, yes. The T28 prototype is a turreted tank destroyer, so it doesn't need as much health as a T28, which is slow and also doesn't have a turret. This tank has also received buffs back in, I believe, March, with some substantial armor improvements. As always, this could be something I run by our tank team, get their expert advice. If there's ever some sort of future reforged, there's something there that we can consider, but we do need to take a look at the data and run if we actually see an issue and find a reason to make those sort of buffs. Next question from Reddit user Stolen Vehicle. Can we get marks added to the garage filter options, as in tanks with 2 marks, etc.? So we have been getting a lot of garage filter requests. Unsure if that we would have room to support them all. And actually, I'm kind of curious. I'm assuming this is specifically talking about marks of excellence. I'm also wondering, here's my question to the users, is to what purpose would you guys like to hide your marks of excellence? Because in my mind, this is something you more or less want to showcase a little bit more. But as always, we get a lot of filter requests. It's something we can always look into, but we also have to ask ourselves, what's going to be most beneficial to most players, right? Let's see. Okay, from Discord user Carnave. once double-barreled tanks make their eventual debut, could it be considered to go back to multi-barreled tanks and give them visual marks on each barrel? Okay, another MOE question. Yes, we do have a ticket for the multi-barrel MOE support. We'll just have to kind of follow up with you guys on that in the future. Let's see.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting to see like each turret independently having your MOEs lined up, which would be pretty cool.
Right now, I imagine like, can you picture a player and you only have your MOE on one barrel? But and I don't know, you want to flaunt it and taunt it a little bit.
You're like, no, look at the other barrel, and just like swing.
Look at my good side.
Yeah, look at my good side. That's funny.
All right, one moment here, guys. I'm catching up on some questions here. Let's see. Question from Orbazov. Hello, and when will Leopard 2AV be available in the store again? Nothing planned currently. All I can really say is stay tuned. We'll have updates for you another time. A question from Bloody War Llama. When will pink tanks come into the game? It sounds like the popularity and requests for these are growing.
I don't know if it's the same person or, it's very popular, but yeah, as soon as we went live, that was one of the first questions I saw. It was like, when?
I don't know. Let's say keep up the demand, and like if you guys want these kind of tanks coming in, like we'll think about it. But what I'll say right now is no current plans. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Question from SWFC Ricardo. Why is there still 6 lights per team in some cases? Isn't the new matchmaker meant to prevent this? So we actually don't have we don't limit the number of lights. The new matchmaker is meant to balance the teams by creating exactly identical composition by tank tier. So when there's that number of lights on your team, we do our best to make sure the other team is also matched to it. Additionally, it balances the number of artillery on each team and also considers team class composition and player battle count. As always, like matchmaker and balancing and fine-tuning that sort of data and criteria is stuff we continue to look into. And I feel like every milestone update, we've made subtle or sometimes even grand changes to it. So as always, more to come later if we do really discover some problems on that.
Sounds good. We have an interesting question here from FL Fisherman asking, my question relates to custom games. Why can't we add bots to custom games? Bam?
Let's see. So internally, we do run some of these for our own playtesting purposes. But we are trying to identify like certain technical blockers of allowing this to open to so many players in the live environments. This was something I was looking into, God, it might have been like 2 years ago, of what we can support. And I'm trying to recall what was some of the concerns that we grew into and decided ultimately to avoid. I will tell you guys, like, I'm not against trying to enable this into the live environments, but we really have to identify some issues into running things like this. That's really the best answer I can kind of supply you guys at this time. So apologies, but I can always try to follow up on that one.
Goop Dog Drill is asking, pirate maps?
Oh boy. What you're actually doing to me right now is my imagination is spooling up, and I'm like trying to think of like Lakeville and give it a pirate theme or something, because I think there's something pretty fun there. To be honest, no, we don't have a pirate map coming. We don't currently have plans, but there might be something very fun to try out in the future. You guys are giving me some ideas. We can get tickets, and these conversations are getting jump started.
All right. Well, since we're keeping it in the theme of pirates, Tactical Potatoes asking, what about a pirate tank skin?
Why aren't we doing that? That's a great idea. I know we did the naval skin that we released for the Type 63 HG. So along the same lines, we could think a little bit more nautical and more pirate themed. What I will say right now, yes, we don't have any current plans. We are limited in the number of skins that we can actually output, amongst the resources we have internally. It takes time to create these sort of things. They're not like camos where it's just a pattern kind of applied on tanks. There's full-on redesigns of the outside of the tanks, adding all these extra elements on there. As well as, we were very conscious sometimes of making sure we don't block, certain areas on tanks where players can apply emblems, and making sure these elements also don't block your view in sniper cam in certain ways. There's always challenges when we have to start planning for tank skins.
We have a question from Kevin Gonzalez here. They're asking, when will Eastern Alliance tanks, like the T-80 and the T-64 tanks, come to Cold War?
No plans right now in the near future. More news to come. Again, I will reiterate, I hate giving that answer, but sometimes it's the truth and honest answer that I can give.
Mm-hmm. Sad Azul is asking, when will there be a next trade-in event?
Nothing officially scheduled yet, but we can possibly look into something next month.
No, you're supposed to say possibly next month?
Possibly.
All right, sounds good. All-Star MB14 is asking, what maps are on the roadmap? I always forget.
We keep this kind of... What's that?
At least they're honest. They always forget.
Yeah. Well, I think we only usually leak what maps are coming up next here on stream, typically. Mm-hmm. And people will call me out like, oh, you already mentioned this map. And I think to myself, like, did I? Like, shoot, I didn't mean to. we like to keep our map releases and what's upcoming kind of a little close to the chest, because sometimes it's nice surprises and get you guys a bit hyped. But, I know for certain we talked about this one a little bit, and I'd be very happy to cover it in further extent in the near future. Up next for a map release will be Corellia.
Sounds great. And then we have a question from Monaco Bonzet, and they're asking, why are newly released premium tanks always the best performers?
So generally the most skilled players are the ones that will jump first into these tanks, and they more or less influence a lot of these stats. So, we talked a lot about the Panzerjäger today, and it had a really high win rate. It had a great high, number one of all tier rates for average damage, and a very good survival rate as well. Again, this is because a lot of the our very avid fans and skilled players are the ones jumping in and grabbing these tanks and trying them out. They are setting the bar. Give this about 2 weeks. We always revisit. We'd like to kind of monitor the performance and the health of how these tanks are doing. And then we can really make concrete decisions like, hey, this is actually overpowered now. We should reconsider. Or, hey, actually, this is a little bit underpowered and we should, go put it through the Tankz0rz 4s and buff certain elements of it, right?
No, definitely. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Our skilled players are actually, making big splashes in here when we release new tanks. So they definitely show us how to play the tank to the maximum performance, which is always awesome. We have a question here from Brett Watcher. This one's interesting here. Would a Metal Slug collaboration be possible?
This actually, we talk about a lot of collabs internally and trying to come up with some fun ideas for events in the future. Internally, Metal Slug never came up, but that would be a fun and rather appropriate collab that we could, bring to attention. But licenses are, negotiated by a completely other team. So it'd really be up to them to tell if it's possible or not. I really can't give you an answer on that. I like the idea, but there's a lot that has to be done and discussed first.
Yeah, definitely. There's always our legal team, always has to take care of that stuff. So if it were up to us, we'd say yes to everything. So these ideas are always awesome. We have a question here from Maxzilla 1998. Can we get non-guided rockets for Era 1, please?
Well, okay, yeah. Right now, Era 1 is currently not allowed to use missiles. We could certainly look into that and possibly implement something in the future. Not against it. Just something we got to look into.
Sounds good. Maximiner Tankz0rz asking any hints on non-merc and or non-premium tank contracts.
We lightly discussed this before. We are tooling around with some new contract ideas. I'll kind of leave this at that because work is still kind of ongoing, but we do have something planned. We're just running it through the paces with our super test group, figuring out the right criteria, the right tuning, and what will those tanks actually be. So no hints I can really give right now, but it is something we are going to have something sooner rather than later to share with you all.
Sounds exciting. What else do we have here?
See, J.W. Dobbs. A few months back, there was talk to make a winter white and NATO desert tan available for all Cold War tanks. What's the status on this? These are. That's a great question. A question I don't know the answer to. That is something I'll need to see if we have an active ticket to look into further. I know our tank designer is actually be doing a lot of heavy lifting on some new camos for different lines, as well as one of our senior engineers also doing some more camo work as well. I don't believe that necessarily falls along the same lines of what's being asked here, but yeah, certainly we can consider it to put into development and have something, thrown to you guys maybe in the future.
We have a question here from Joseph Gorski. He's asking, will the next season be interesting?
What's wrong with Evolution? Evolution's interesting. We got Pirate Week coming up.
No, definitely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Evolution, but this person here wants to know if the next one's going to be interesting.
I am not going to drop hints right now, but we go through a lot of roadmap planning and season planning and what sort of features kind of fall in line with what we feel is appropriate to go into it. I think I'll just leave it at that. Get excited. There's going to be fun things coming, and the next season is not that far out.
It's right around the corner. Let's see what else we got here.
Goliath Games asks, what about +1, -1 in World War II permanently? I know this one comes up quite a bit, and as always, we still have internal discussions on how we'd like to handle this going forward. Permanently, I'm not making any commitment or promise that is something, but I'm not going to give exacts or specifics, but pretty soon we are running, we're going to try some different form that leans into +1, -1 that you guys might enjoy and benefit from. It's not going to be just +1, -1 on, but we're trying something else, and I'll just leave it at that, and more details to share in the near future.
Sounds great. Exciting stuff. I have a question here from Colonel Dingus is asking, can you show the penetration and velocity values for your tank that's currently loaded a shell or loading a shell, preferably somewhere near the shell type icon, so like on the HUD in-game?
That is a very interesting question. Because it's been very much a highlight of topic between myself and our engineering team and our UI team. Let's just say we're working on some stuff.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, right? Because it's shown to you in Garage. I mean,
but yeah, you don't know when you're in game. Yeah.
Unless you have a photographic memory, you're just like keeping everything right there.
I'm not going to give you guys an exact answer, but some things are brewing.
It's cooking in the oven. Jessica Cohen's asking, are there any licensed seasons coming up? Transformers, maybe?
We do have some content coming, but Someone asked, earlier about licensing and, season plans. Nothing that I can announce right now. Nothing quite final. So, question from this one comes up quite a bit. Question from Dawn Ark. Are you working on medals and ribbons for Cold War? The answer to that is this is very much a ticket on my plate, and it is something we want to start kicking off into further investigation and implementation. Let me start off by saying medals for Cold War, because I know that has not been part of Cold War since we launched it. That is something, personally I'd love to see in the game, because we've been kind of pushing that one out a little bit. That is something we'll kind of move forward and try to get into the game. Ribbons, we are actually looking into something about ribbons and possibly restoring it or some alternative. All I can really tell you guys right now, these conversations are ongoing, but I'm not going to commit to you giving you an answer right now. Hold on, I'm trying to. There's a message going by about can you notice me? I'm a late humanity. I see you. Did I miss a question from you?
No, I wonder where they're from. I like when they go like, "Hey, hello from Armenia" or something. It's like, oh, cool. We have viewers all over the world.
So if there was a question, I missed it. Oh wait, can we get a Steve Irwin commander? Noting that down right now.
To go with that, we have some elite humanities like, hey, Australia guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shout out to our Australian players if you guys are out there. Let's see here. Well, hey, we're still sitting on a giveaway, correct? Do we have a pending winner here?
Let me go ahead and cook that up. And while I do that, I see a question here from Static MS asking, Tankz0rz, is that a guitar in your background? No, that's actually a tank disguised as a guitar.
No, that is one hell of a camo.
So just don't tell anyone, because I'd probably get in trouble. No, that is a guitar. Let's choose a new winner here. And now we must download the winners. And our winner is Kosamera. Congratulations, Kosamera.
Congrats.
You are the lucky winner of our Panzerjäger.
And then we're also running the a chance to win the Panzerjäger on Twitter, correct?
That is correct. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and check out our Twitter page for an additional chance to possibly win your very own shiny tank here. And you'll be walking away with a brand new NM116 Panzerjäger and the skin. Of course, it's not just the tank, you also get the skin. That is very good.
Well, what do you say? There's a few more questions coming in. I wouldn't mind. I guess, to be fair, we started a little late and we're still a little early here. I can give you guys a few more minutes.
We went on a whole explanation about how we were like,
Oh, right. Yes. Chicago time zone. A little bit different here. Okay, so a question from Gaming Stuka. Can we get an increase for silver earnings for all tiers in World War II? I mean, we've been running a lot of silver bonus events, but no plans to just increase the base earnings for all tanks in World War II. The economy is very tightly wound around the tanks based on those earnings that we set. Question from Monkeynomics. I like that. Will World War II ever get its own HUD unique from Cold War? Let me just say this is another active discussion going on of just further HUD changes that we'd like to apply to the game, catering much more a little bit akin to what players like or request. So no commitments at this time, but it is something internally we are looking into. Goliath Games. What about a battle royale mode? What I will say is we did prototype this. This was years ago. We prototyped a battle royale mode, and it was on Desful. That's right, because we wanted to kind of look into a large map and try it out. And what I will say is it just wasn't fun. As a designer, one of our goals is to identify, how do we make and prototype something to make it possible to play test and try out. Once that's done and we have all our ideas and we believe it's all working in correct functional order, then we get a chance to try it out. And when we got the chance to try it out, we had our expectations that this was going to be exciting and work out really well. Quite honestly, it kind of fell apart, and the balancing of it was a bit of a mess as well. Because how do you go from someone that can jump into, say, like a certain light tank where you're unable to do damage to maybe the last standing heavy tanks that are out there? There is certainly different routes that we can apply and look into solutions to said challenges like that. And we were trying to think of things along those lines. How do we approach it? Ultimately, this became a much more difficult and grander long-term thing we'd have to apply. So we stepped away from it for now. I'd hate to just completely shelve Battle Royale entirely. Very well could be a fun limited time event mode in the future. So I never want to say never, but we do try things out and have to just kind of say yay or nay. Yeah, you make a good point, because that's another thing we could look into, and we did consider, is setting specific tanks that players can go into. Maybe everyone's the same tank. That's absolutely a solution that we can apply.
That's definitely interesting, right? Like, if it's not fun for us as like the developers, then we wouldn't expect it to be fun for everyone else. So we definitely want to make something that's fun for us as well as for our players. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Fun in theory.
We have a question here from Sassy Wombat. Any info on ranked battles?
So the old ranked battle system, we ended up replacing with a competitive Tank Ace event. We have been working on getting some leaderboards set up for clans. Then we wanted to do events so that we can start running these more competitive events again. A lot of the end goals for ranked battles is trying to figure out a solution that we don't really segment it as its own like game mode type or event sort of deal, but something more or less pooled into the same matchmaker system. That's still a challenge that we're figuring out. More to come on that in the future.
Sounds good.
A League of Legends Paragon Tower type game mode would be fun. That was a question from Robo Chicken with 2 N's at the end there. That would be kind of fun. Yeah, just some sort of tower defense mode.
Or like go through like trying to like take over like pillboxes or like certain zones and like keep pushing towards like an end goal, like a main base type deal. I'm assuming
exactly
what they're explaining. Yeah.
I'm always for like fun game mode ideas. We even prototyped way back when a capture the flag version of a game. Again, another thing that just didn't come to light early on because we ran into challenges. We identified it just didn't feel very fun. But yeah, there's just a growing list of game modes, and we just have to kind of pick which ones. Which ones, of course, would be catering really well to the player base, and this is something like you guys are just going to eat up and like really love and enjoy, versus what can we actually achieve within a certain milestone plan? Do we have the time? Do we have the technical expertise to really achieve it within a time frame?
Sounds good. And we have another question here from Degeneratio. He's asking if it's actually Degeneratio, and I saw someone else, Dagala88. They're asking, when is the Cobra and Tankz0rz coming?
So one of them will be coming this year, and let's just say the other one will be coming next year. I'll leave it to you to guess which one's which.
Oh, playing with our hearts here, Bam.
That's just what I do, right?
Question here from King of Banters is asking, could we get tracer rounds or smoke rounds on their tanks?
I'm sure what a tracer round would be used for is the rounds already have tracers. Smoke rounds have been talked about before, and that question has come up here as well. That's something we really have to figure out. Is this a smart move in World War II, right? I'd like to know a bit more information on what would players benefit from getting a tracer round out. Just trying to understand.
Thing I could think of would be like telling your buddies or your platoon mates, like, hey, like, look here, like, aim here, right? But other than that, it's like you already have, the tracers that inform you like what type of shell you're shooting and stuff like that, right? So
yeah, the first thing that came to mind was some sort of tracer that tags a tank. Maybe it keeps them spotted, like for an extra duration or something.
yeah, that'd be interesting. Keeping a tank spotted longer.
Yeah.
If a tracer.
Oh, someone just said that too in the chat. Yeah, Bloody War
Oh,
Llama,
yeah,
keeping a tank
go.
spotted longer, hit with the tracer. Yep. We're on the same wavelength here.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up here for this week. What do you think, Bam?
I think we're good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us again this week, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And for those of you on Twitch, please hang on, and we will raid one of our community members that are streaming. We'll see you on the battlefield.
See you on the battlefield, guys.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.